Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you are all doing so well on this wonderful Wednesday or whenever and wherever you are when you decide to watch this. I wanted to come on here to talk about the planetary transits we've been moving through as a collective because there's a lot of fire that has been added over the past few weeks. So we are going to talk about it. And as always, these forecasts are timeless. Even though I speak about specific transits, whenever you decide to watch this, know that these energies are being activated within you. So a few weeks ago, we had Neptune leave Pisces and enter Aries. And this past weekend, we've witnessed Saturn leave Pisces to also enter Aries. So currently we have Neptune, Saturn, Chiron, and Venus all in Aries. We now have the Sun in Gemini. We had the Moon in Gemini, and we now have Mercury in Gemini. So as a whole, this is giving a lot of masculine driven energy into the collective. We might feel our minds racing. We might feel that it's hard to sit still and to take that break. So I wanted to come on here to talk about these energies and how they might be showing up for you. So as mentioned, we currently have the Sun in Gemini, and we had the new moon in Gemini yesterday. This is important because this gives us this dual aspect of the feminine and the masculine showing up. And this is going to be a major theme for us during this period. Also, with Neptune having left Pisces, which is its home sign, to enter into Aries, we're going to be initiated to lean into our intuition, but on a bolder scale. Intuition is usually a subtle hint. It leads us upon our paths, usually gently and quietly. But now with the planet of intuition, Neptune in Aries, we are going to be invited to be more confident, to be seen for this intuition. Now this energy might have been a little chaotic and unstable at first, but it's going to stabilize now that Saturn is in Aries. Now Saturn is not the happiest sign in Pisces because Pisces is the sign of dissolution. It's where everything breaks down. Hi, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. It's also great to have your energy in the space. I hope you've been well. So now that we have Saturn in Aries as opposed to Pisces, we're going to be forced to restructure our power. So there was a huge dissolution going on within the collective psyche because that's what Pisces energy is. And Saturn is looking to build. It's looking for structure. It's looking for order. And it's realizing that you can't build or achieve order or structure while Saturn is in Pisces. But that's all about to shift. Now that Saturn is in Aries, we are going to find that forward momentum. We are going to feel that clarity we've been looking for to take action and to move forward. And we did have a gathering on Monday night celebrating the new moon. And it was a beautiful gathering. We were 3 women, very intimate. And we touched on how the leading archetype for us during the season is going to be the seasoned warrior. So a lot of us have been going through heavy initiations over the past months, the past years, even the past decades for a lot of us, but we're ready to step forward and be reborn again. We've culminated the cycle of the astrological wheel with Saturn and Neptune having finished their cycles for now in Pisces and beginning anew in Aries. We're going to see both these planets go retrograde in the fall, but right now we're being given that forward momentum to leap forward. And what's going to be leaping forward are the seasoned practitioners, the seasoned healers, those that have been doing the work. Anybody who's been preaching one thing and not embodying it or living it, they're going to dissolve and disappear. And this is because of Neptune and Saturn now in Aries. Because even though we were in the portal of dissolution with Pisces, we are now entering the flames of purification in Aries. Anything that is blocking you, limiting you from shining your light is going to burn. And this is going to be uncomfortable for those of us that are not used to going through these flames of purification. And it's understanding that wounded patterns are going to be flaring even more now. Because we've had Chiron here, our wounded healer, the whole time. We have Venus here as well, the planet of love. And so we're going to be seeing patterns of woundedness coming to the surface in regards to our relationship to ourselves, because Aries rules the first house, but also in regards to the other intimate relationships in particular, because we have Venus here. So this is the dynamic we're going to be playing out person to person. And on the bigger scale, we have Neptune and Saturn influencing, pulling some strings to unravel knots. Should we let them? And this is where we need to make a conscious choice. Are we going to keep playing out the same patterns, or are we going to allow the wisdom from Neptune and the restructuring of Saturn to guide us forward and allow us to rebuild in a way that might not make sense to our logical minds? Because the work we are being called to do at this time isn't logical, it's energetical. And yes, I just made up a word. So we need to allow this restructuring to take place. And it's funny because as I was actually showering when Saturn entered Aries over the weekend, the image I got was of the human skeleton. And Saturn does rule our skeleton, our spine. And I saw it be on fire. So it's realizing that any structure that might not have completely dissolved in Pisces is going to be set on flame, on fire under Saturn in Aries. And this is to perfect its structure, to perfect its strength. So it's not something to be worried about or to fear. It's something to embrace and allow to happen. Now we have the sun in Gemini and we had the moon in Gemini yesterday. So this is really important because tying back in to the energies in Aries, we're going to feel this back and forth a lot this month. Second guessing ourselves, knowing, okay, should I do this? Should I do that? We are going to experience having competing interests between our interests and the interests of the other. It's realizing that there is no wrong choice. We're just going to have to make choices and live with the consequences that come our way. And as mentioned, Gemini is going to cause a little bit of confusion, but we need to realize that we are sovereign beings and the decision we make is going to lead us exactly to where we're meant to be led. The next transmission that is coming through right now is Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is known as the Great Awakener. It is electricity. It's a lightning bolt. It hits and then it's gone. And this energy in Taurus is slow. It can be stubborn, but it's grounded. So we get this two aspects of Uranus in Taurus playing out. The empowered aspect where we're grounding in awakening, spiritual tools, and this disempowered aspect where we're stubborn, we're in denial. Maybe we're refusing to awaken and really up level spiritually because we're comfortable. We need to look at this pattern and this cycle and figure out what side we're on, because things are going to dramatically shift once Uranus leaves Taurus to enter into Gemini. So this is going to give us even more Gemini into the collective's energy, more mental energy, more quick breakthroughs, more ideas, more brainstorming. And we're going to have to remember that we need to ground this energy into our bodies. We need to integrate. We need to allow time for rest. So even though a lot of the planets are going to be in masculine-based signs, fire and air, we need to remind ourselves that it's okay to rest, to take breaks, breaks, I don't know why that came through, breaks, and to pace ourselves and not burn ourselves out, which brings me to a segue that I did want to talk about today, and that's women in business. So more than ever, we're seeing women start their own businesses. And it's in realizing that women in business is not supposed to look like men in business. Our energetics are completely different, and we need to normalize the energetics of women in business. It's slower paced. It's not active all the time. It might not be consistently active either. And it's realizing that women's energy ebbs and flows. I've said this before and I will say it again. Men recharge daily because of testosterone. Women, we typically recharge on a 28-day cycle with our moon cycles. So it's realizing that business is meant to look differently. And I've actually had the pleasure to meet a few women-owned businesses over the past couple of days, and they shared that their structure is slower. One woman was telling me how she's owned her place for 1.5 years now, and she's still not done setting up. And we need to normalize that that is okay. We're not meant to live a fast-paced business life. We're meant to live a slower, more nourishing, soul-led business style and structure. So that really wanted to come through for us today. And realizing that we can have our own personalized approach to business. It doesn't need to look the same as everybody else's. Just want to tune in here, see if there's anything else that wants to come through. No. Okay. So that wraps up the transmissions that I wanted to share today. I did want to draw cards for the elements just because the transits of Neptune and Saturn and Aries are quite significant in terms of really embodying that warrior energy. So the deck I'm using is the Primordial Warrior Oracle. And it's funny, this deck had been sitting there. I don't use it often, but had been sitting there. And then I realized, you know what? With all the planets currently in Aries, which is the sign representing the god of war, it's fitting. So we're going to start with the elements. And the first one up is fire. Ooh. So my fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. We have grounded energy coming through as your leading archetype during these transits. Now just look at this card. So I feel like we see the warrior here at the front, and then we see this could be a type of dragon, it could be a griffin at the back here. So it's interesting that for my fire signs, we're already getting this dual aspect coming through of like man and beast. So maybe my fire signs are feeling torn between these two aspects of themselves. They're more grounded, centered self, and then they're more primordial self. And it's realizing that we need to integrate and embody both. Both need a safe outlet to be expressed. So maybe this more grounded aspect is your everyday persona, but then maybe you need a healthy outlet for this energy here, this dragon or this griffin. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe it's creating art, or maybe it's yelling atop a roof somewhere or a mountain. That sounds a lot nicer. But it's realizing that both these aspects can peacefully coexist. But the key word here is groundedness. You need to be able to ground in and anchor both of these energies, my fire signs. And realizing that it's not about dissolving or getting rid of either one, but about becoming both holistically. I want to see if there's anything else coming up. I'd say what else I'm noticing on this card is that the main color is green. So heart chakra energy, a lot of my fire signs, the flames of purification are going to take you through burning away any remaining limitations or blocks that you have in regards to your heart chakra. Any blocks or limitations that you have towards expressing and or receiving love. And let's not forget, even though this is the more tame self, this energy is a warrior nonetheless. So it's being a brave warrior of the heart, allowing yourself to open, to soften, to be vulnerable, but still know when to set those boundaries and to put a motherfucker in their place if need be. And it's that beautiful balance between both these energies that is going to allow you to feel centered and grounded. So for my fire signs that have been feeling ungrounded, it's because there's a specific aspect of yourself that is calling for your attention. And for a lot of you, this aspect is a shadow part, a shadow self. So for my fire signs that don't actively do shadow work, now is the time. And for those that do, keep on it and maybe explore another outlet to express this energy. As I said, yelling atop a roof or a mountain could be beneficial for some of you, or martial arts could also be a good outlet to allow this energy room to live. Otherwise, it will suffocate and it will cause disbalance and chaos. And interestingly enough, we have a little bit of pink down here. Pink is the color of our higher heart chakra. So as you open and heal and rebalance your heart chakra, you're going to be led to opening and allowing your higher heart chakra to blossom and open. So that's all I'm getting for my fire signs. Feel free to let me know how that resonates or doesn't resonate. I would love to hear from you. We're now going to move into my air signs. And the card that came out is Grace. But this card came out and it was upside down. But it's really interesting because even as I'm showing you guys this card, we're having like this mirroring happen with this card. Which is really fitting because, as mentioned, we're in Gemini season. So there's going to be a lot of mirroring happening for my air signs. So Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. You're going to be called to pay more attention to these patterns and to not take things personally, especially during this season. Because people are going to be mirroring you, and it's going to be your job to discern when someone is projecting their own shadow upon you. And to call it how you see it. Because look how different these cards are. In the first one, for the fire signs, we see the warrior with this being at the back, whereas this one, we see it above the warrior. And we're seeing that mirroring aspect I was talking about. So the energy is very different between these cards. So air signs, who is mirroring your energy back at you and who's projecting their energy upon you? Whose shadows are you calling out by being in your power? Because that's really what I'm picking up for my air signs. This is going to be a period of you really standing in your power and not allowing others' shadows to fuck with your peace. Because we see the positioning of this warrior's body here. It's very solid. It's very strong. And it's interesting. It's like a full body, whereas here it's just a head. Confirming that others will project unfounded realities onto you because it's just a head. It has no body. And again, highlighting that people are going to be projecting from the throat upwards. So completely disconnected from their own bodies. So for my air signs, it's going to be really important for you to not take anything personally during these transits. Know that it is just headless realities being thrown your way and that a lot of it has nothing to do with you. And it's going to be up to you to use your discernment and to trust your intuition in regards to, okay, do I have the energetic capacity to entertain this, or do I not fucking want to? Because I did not mention Saturn in Aries is all about motherfucking boundaries. If you don't want to entertain this shadow that somebody's projecting onto you, you have every right to say, nope, I'm leaving, or no, this is not for me. And with this card, I definitely see my air signs strengthening their boundaries and using their voice, not allowing anybody to speak over them and to project their shit onto them. So this is going to be a very powerful transit for my air signs. And it's interesting because the key word here is grace. So my air signs are going to learn grace through this transit. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging because, like I say, the image I'm getting is just people just projecting their shit, and you're just going to have to deflect and not allow it to touch you. But that's all I'm getting for my air signs. Sounds like a very activating time. We're now going to move into the earth signs. So let's see. Interesting. So for my earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, we have the wordsmith. So it's interesting how the first two cards were primarily black and green, whereas this one's full of blue. So my earth signs, you are going to be called to use your voice like never before during this transit. I was going to say this season, but Gemini season is just 30 days, give or take. It's this transit until Neptune and Saturn start their retrograde journeys during the fall. You're going to be powered up. And it's really fascinating to observe that even though we have the heart chakra here, it has a bit of a yellow tinge to it, which makes me think of the solar plexus. So my earth signs are going to be anchoring in more of their power. And I was going to say godly power, because look at this light just radiating out of this heart chakra. It's electric. So for my earth signs, really pay attention when Uranus shifts into Gemini. I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head right now. I'll post it in the description. But really pay attention to Uranus. Where is Uranus in your chart right now, earth signs? Because it's in your fellow earth sign Taurus at the moment. And it's going to be shifting into Gemini. And that's really going to electrify things for you. A lot of you are going to get more speaking opportunities come your way. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of my earth stars, interesting, earth signs start publishing work online. So really tune into your gifts, because you're going to be kind of psychedelic over this transit. Everything's going to feel heightened. You're going to feel more connected. You're going to receive more downloads, more intuitive hits. So really pay attention, because you're going to be electric. Look at this card. And you're going to be a force to reckon with, my earth signs. And for those of you resistant to this change, it's going to cause friction. So the best advice I can give you right now is to let it happen. For a lot of my earth signs, you are going through a death and rebirth as we speak. This persona, this God essence, this goddess essence that wants to be born through you is emerging. And the best thing you can do is allow. Rest if you need. Make sure to hydrate. The best way to start anchoring these codes and to embody them is through hydration. And make sure you are taking care of yourself, because this is a huge upgrade happening for my earth signs. And earth is the densest element of all four. So change can be a little wonky in this element. But you are definitely receiving a lot of Uranian support. And it's interesting because as I look closer at this card, we see this being looking down, whereas like this being is looking off to the side. So with this card, with this being looking down, this is telling me that my earth signs, you are outgrowing something. Either you have or you are going to. And you see like this being is looking down at something down here, and you've just grown so much, and then you've become electric through that process, through that journey. And I'm also observing that there's a book here. So I did say this being is looking down at something they've outgrown, but with the book here, this to me is symbolizing a point of mastery for my earth signs. There's something you've mastered and are ready to project out and help others with. And with all these birds here, these are ideas, plans that are going to take flight for you. You're going to get those undercurrents of celestial energy supporting you. So whatever you're looking to create in these upcoming months, earth signs, really put your head down and get to work and complete them. If you've been writing a book, finish writing it, publish it. People need your words more than ever, earth signs. If you've been thinking about starting a blog, start the damn thing. Do not wait. Allow it to be messy and not necessarily know what you're doing. Because even though I touched on women in business, that's another aspect of business, is this preconceived idea that you need to have it all figured out. And a lot of people don't take that first step when it comes to starting their own business because they're too terrified. And it's realizing that you're going to feel that terror regardless. It's going to be messy. And the more we can normalize business being messy, the more we can allow that human essence to just exist and be. And it does make me think of Monday's ceremony. We were all exhausted, so we kept it low key. Yet it was still magical, and we all felt better afterwards. So it's allowing ourselves to show up, to do the thing, and be messy while doing it. To sometimes be exhausted, to not be perfect, and know that it's okay. It's going to be exactly what people need it to be. So earth signs, get to speaking, get to writing. Please, we need your medicine. There are people waiting to hear your voice. There are people waiting to read your creations. Don't hold back anymore. You are divinely supported and guided. Whew, I really felt that energy in my heart. That was intense for the earth signs. We're now going to move into the water signs. And oh my God, this card couldn't be better. So Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, this is your card. Look how beautiful this is. And it's a very watery card too, with the sea turtle. And it says navigate. And I love how the head of this sea turtle lines up with this warrior's throat, giving it like this double-minded energy. And I'm really picking up that Gemini duality coming through this card. We have this kind of masculine energy up here, this warrior, very clear, very direct. And then we have the support of this feminine energy coming through. So my water signs, you might feel this back and forth between your inner masculine and inner feminine. And it's realizing that for some of you, you do need to allow your masculine essence to take charge a bit more. Whereas for others of you, it's softening how you speak. Really toning it down, being more empathetic, being more sensitive, being more emotionally attuned. Because even though we see both of these beings here, I am feeling a bit of a disconnect. I'm feeling that some of my water signs, if not a lot, are more so in their wounded masculine, even though some might be in their wounded feminine. Nonetheless, I am picking up wounded behavior surfacing for my water signs, and it's about coming home to your sense of self, realizing that you're not masculine or feminine, you are both, and that you need to actively integrate and embody both. One is not weak, one is not strong. They both have their strong points, they both have their weak points. And you get to choose which one you are going to embody and move through. And with the flowy hair, I'm definitely picking up Neptune energy, which is interesting because as we were talking about, Neptune has been in Pisces, which is a water sign, and it's now in fire. So for some of my water signs, paying attention to where your own Neptune placement is in your birth chart and how the transit in Aries is communicating to your birth chart placement. Trying to see if there's anything else that wants to come up for my water signs. These bands on this warrior's arms, maybe their tattoos, are really standing out to me as well. So maybe that means something significant to one of you, but they're really catching my eye. I'm not really picking up a specific message in regards to them, only that they're really standing out. Maybe some of you have been thinking about getting a tattoo done. But the key word for my water signs is navigate. Know when to stand your ground and be the warrior, and know when to be the peaceful sea turtle and just flow. That card just flew out of my hand and I don't know where it went. But anyways, those are the messages I'm getting for the elements. Feel free to share with me in the comment section how these transits are personally impacting you. I did get the line from Mean Girls, who here has personally been victimized by Regina George. Some of us might be feeling that way with the specific transits we're moving through, so feel free to share that with me as well in the comments. And as always, if you're looking for personalized support on your journey, please reach out. I would love the opportunity to walk alongside you for a little bit. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love.